Tucker Carlson is back in Russia, specifically Moscow once again. And if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know about 10 months ago, I had 2 videos go viral, basically showing where he went shopping in McDonald's, grocery shopping in like a local store, and it showed everything. It showed that there was no embargo from the US, it showed they had lots of different food, and also the McDonald's video that I posted that went super crazy as well. Those 2 videos were insane. So hopefully we get some more content out of this one. You guys can follow along the journey. If you enjoyed those videos, make sure to subscribe, comment down below, tell me what other videos you want me to react to next. This one should be incredible. Let me know your thoughts and let's get into it.
In the week since we left Russia, Moscow, where we are now, in February after interviewing Vladimir Putin, we've watched from the United States as the Biden administration has driven the U.S. ever closer to a nuclear conflict with Russia, the country that possesses the world's largest nuclear arsenal. It has accelerated ever since, and it's reached its apogee so far in the weeks after Trump's election. He is now the president-elect. In that time, just a few weeks ago, the Biden administration, American military personnel, launched missiles into mainland Russia and killed at least a dozen Russian soldiers.
I didn't even know about that. I knew that the Biden administration declared that Ukraine was able to send long-distance missiles into Ukraine. And I remember as well hearing about that, seeing it in the news a few weeks ago, and just being wild. Escalation of warfare, you know?
So we are, unbeknownst to most Americans, in a hot war with Russia, an undeclared war, a war you did not vote for and that most Americans don't want, but that is ongoing. And because of that war, because of the fact that the U.S. military is killing Russians in Russia right now, we are closer to nuclear war than at any time in history. Far closer than we were during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Tucker being one of the biggest journalists in the world, coming from him, that's actually pretty insane for him to say that. I mean, wow. That's just incredible, you know?
That would mean the elimination of Russia, the United States, and most of the rest of the world. We felt there must be someone behind the scenes in Washington working to make sure that this conflict doesn't become a nuclear holocaust.
But at least you'd hope so. You definitely hope so. Because I also reacted to the interview with Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin. That one got like 50,000 views. So yeah, and it was interesting to hear some insights on the other side as well. You know, whatever your politics are, you know, I like to react to both sides, the left and the right, and the center, Ukraine, Russia. I like to react to all different sides on my platform.
In Washington, working to make sure that this conflict doesn't become a nuclear holocaust. But we found out that no, in fact, there is nobody. Tony Blinken, the current Secretary of State, cut off all contact between the U.S. and Russian governments.
And that's the thing. He said there's no back channel. That's the thing with Trump. You know, at least he kind of talks to these leaders. You know, Obama wouldn't talk to the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. He wouldn't talk to any of these other leaders. Well, now we have Trump in. Hopefully talking is great. And I know a lot of people, before they say, well, if he's talking, he's pandering to these people. I don't necessarily think so. You know, talking is great. You know, they say that when the talking stops, the violence occurs. The violence happens. It's a great quote. When the talking stops, that's when you're violent. Because you're not talking when you're fighting with somebody. You know, when talking is still going on, you're pretty much safe. But when the talking stops, that's not a good channel to go down.
There is no back channel, there is no conversation, there hasn't been for more than 2 years. That's shocking. Meanwhile, most Americans have no access to any perspective other than that granted to them by NBC News and the New York Times. They don't know how close we are. They don't know the Russian perspective. We've been trying for over a year to get that perspective out to American news consumers. We've also tried for over a year to get an interview with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. We've attacked that from a bunch of different angles. We've spoken to a lot of different people around him, had dinner with them. We've been in talks continuously, and those efforts have been thwarted by the U.S. government. The American embassy in Kiev, which our tax dollars pay for, told the Zelensky government, no, you may not do the interview.
That's very strange. I don't understand like how the American government can push only one people to interview certain people. Like, shouldn't it be more well-rounded? Tucker Carlson is the biggest interviewer, is the biggest podcaster in the world. You know, I know he has a podcast now as well. He has massive platform, but it seems like that they only want to hear one rhetoric from one government officials, you know?
Which our tax dollars pay for, told the Zelensky government, no, you may not do the interview. You can talk to CNN, you can't talk to us. So we've been unable to speak to him. So we came back to Moscow yesterday to interview the foreign minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, the longest serving foreign minister in the world. He's been a part of this government for 25 years. He's been in the diplomatic corps for over 40, and ask him, where exactly are we? Are we headed toward an unprecedented conflict between Russia and the United States?
That's the big question. We all want to know that. I mean, obviously, I'm living in Europe, guys. We're in Ireland. We're in national country that basically we don't support either side, but obviously we support Ukraine because there is that sort of vested interest with Ireland. We're taking in refugees. We have that sort of vested interest, but we're still a neutral country. Okay, so although we don't pick a side in any warfare, World War II, the Vietnam War, World War I, we still, have a vested interest in obviously the Western world, okay?
Is there any way to peel Russia back from the east, from the sphere of China, back into the west? Is that alliance permanent? And does the election of Donald Trump mean an end to this war, which is reshaping the world, the U.S. economy, the global economy, and risking the life of every person on this planet? Is that possible? We just walked out of that interview. It's absolutely fascinating. It's coming very soon. We hope you'll watch.
Absolutely, guys. If you want to see that, make sure to tune into my channel. I'm going to be reacting to that, the foreign minister of Russia, on the TuckerCarlson.com network. Wow, that's unbelievable. So we're back in Russia. Like I said, I reacted to the Vladimir Putin interview with Tucker Carlson, and that interview got quite a number of views as well. So I appreciate you guys wanting to see my insight. I also reacted to Tucker Carlson in the Russian metro train station. That got 60,000 views. So definitely a lot of interest from people over this side as well, wanting to know my opinion on the Russian conflict. Because like I said, guys, in Ireland, we're obviously a neutral country, but we do take a side with Ukraine because there is a vested interest there, okay, from the Western world. America has a lot of companies here. America does have this massive support system in Ireland, okay, where they do push their narrative in our country. So that's the side that this country's taking. Okay, let me know your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. It's going to be unbelievable to see more of those videos. I want to see him not just interview the foreign minister of Russia, guys. I want to see him interviewing a lot of other people, in the Russian countries, maybe some sports people. I'd love to see as well him going around the streets of Moscow interviewing just the random civilians, not just the McDonald's, the metro, and the different grocery stores. It would be interesting to see the people's perspective, because I know the people of Russia have had a lot of protests, and I know that there's been a lot of different controversy with different organizations recently as well, with that organization that got raided on their party night, let's just say. So yeah, it would be very interesting to see what the actual people think of the whole country over there, the personal people, whether there's a large support for the president or whatever. So very interesting to see. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, buy my merch, guys. Check out my merch. My merch is sick. And check out my Patreon to support me, and I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.